I'm very much looking forward to our next presentation. We have Dan Thomas, Managing Director of Hammer Metals. Crossing to Dan now.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks to the conference conveners. I look forward to joining you all in November. Thanks to everyone for joining in. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Hammer story, we're a gold and copper gold and copper explorer. Hopefully one day we'll be a producer. We're exploring in two of the world's great metal provinces. In the Yandal Belt in Western Australia, historically produced over 24 million ounces of gold. We're exploring there for a gold deposit. We're in very close proximity to the recently acquired Bronzewing gold mine. It was acquired by Northern Star Resources last year for $243 million. We've got an active exploration program there where we have recently reported some results this morning. And we're also exploring for gold and copper in Mount Isa. We've got 5 defined JORC resources in Mount Isa. The pick of them, the Kalman deposit, 20 million tonnes at 1.8% copper equivalent. We're exploring in Mount Isa for a large-scale IOCG Ernest Henry style deposit. And we've got an active exploration program there at the moment where we're also drilling currently in partnership with our joint venture partner JOGMEC, who are earning a 60% interest in those projects over the 5-year period. The background of the company, we have an experienced board. Importantly, Russell Davis and Ziggy Libanecki were behind the Gruyere deposit discovery for Gold Road. They've taken that company they took that company from a junior exploration company through the development life cycle. They're looking to repeat their experience here with Hammer Metals. Hammer Metals has a market capitalisation today of about $24 million with approximately a cash balance of $2.8 million. We trade at about 4 cents per share. Ziggy and Russell are significant shareholders in the company, accounting for approximately 16% of the outstanding shares. Recently, they've exercised options in the company. There's 170 million options outstanding that are exercisable at 3 cents up until September 30 this year. The enterprise value is roughly $20 million and the top 20 shareholders account for approximately 60% of the register. So it's relatively tight. We have a long-standing shareholders who are very supportive of the story and looking forward to joining us on the journey through the exploration cycle. The Bronzewing South Gold Project that I alluded to in the front literally sits 100 metres away from the old Bronzewing pits there, very close to the infrastructure that's been established there, a 2 million tonne per annum plant, as I said, acquired last year by Northern Star. If you can see my mouse on the screen there, we've got 3 key project areas here, the Bronzewing South project, the North Orelia project where we reported some results from this morning. We're still drilling there. We've got samples in the laboratory. Hopefully we'll be returning some results over the coming weeks. We have a 3rd project area to the south of our tenement here at Ken's Bore. As I said, we've been active on that project. We've been there now for just on 12 months. We've been active across all 3 of those project areas and I'll talk you through each of them. The North Orelia project, we've been exploring there probably for 9 months. We're on our 3rd air core program here. We've tested a number of targets. The North Orelia project area sits along strike from the Orelia and Coburn deposits that you can see to the south here. There's 1 million ounces of gold here in resource that are currently being explored further and hopefully developed by Northern Star Resources in the near future to go through the Bronzewing mill. We're exploring a trend that's quite similar in nature to the north, 14 kilometres of it. And we've really focused in on our target 1 area here where we've managed to define a 2-kilometre trend of gold mineralisation. As I said, we're infilling that area at the moment. I think the pleasing thing that we're seeing here at the North Orelia project is that historical drilling through here really hasn't been sufficient in defining these gold projects. Typically, the drilling here was vertical drilling to a nominal depth of 21 metres. When we've come in here, we've angled holes, we've drilled to refusal, an average depth of between 40 and 50 metres. We're picking up mineralisation that past exploration has just missed. So I think that's a key point moving forward. It opens up all of our tenure through the Yandal Belt, and it's one of the key reasons that we think exploring the Yandal Belt makes a lot of sense. A lot of gold deposits, large gold deposits, big systems, and we think we're onto something here at Target 1. As I said, we put some results out this morning. I think they're quite promising. They're along this 2-kilometre gold mineralisation stretch. The new results you can see on the screen here in yellow. The best results that we got out of that first is approximately 4,000 metres out of an 8,000 metre program. The best results we achieved with the 4 metres at 5.8 grams per tonne from a relatively shallow depth of 40 metres, 4 metres at 4.4 grams per tonne, again from 48 metres, and a broad anomaly here across this line, 48 metres at 0.45 grams per tonne gold. And as I alluded to, we've got about 1,000 samples that we submitted to the laboratory earlier this week, covering again the southern extension here. So we think that that offers some potential near-term news flow and good news flow for our shareholders. We're also drilling to the south of Target 1, looking for extensions of this defined system. This is the first phase of our program through Target 1. As you can see here, a lot of these intercepts that we've achieved have all been achieved through air core drilling. So we're trying to really define the areas that we need to come back and test from an RC drill perspective. And in the second half of this year, or the later part of this year, we'll be coming in and testing these with RC drilling. Bronzewing South Tenement, for anyone that doesn't know the history of this, it's a bit of an infamous project in Western Australia. It was tied up in a legal challenge for over a decade. It was eventually decided in the High Court in 2002, and Newmont did an earn-in on the project. Newmont spent approximately 11 months exploring this tenement. You can see it sits literally right to the south of the Bronzewing gold mine. The 11 months that they spent on the project, they did a very extensive air core program and defined a number of near-surface anomalies. You can see here with the red and the pink dots. They're similar in tenor to the original Bronzewing discovery through here. Newmont only spent 11 months working this grounds before they left the Bronzewing gold mine on the back of a crash in gold prices. And over this entire tenure, they only drilled 9 deeper RC or diamond holes. Fast forward to May last year, the project was vended into Hammer. Hadn't seen any historical exploration since 2003. We did an IP survey very early on. We followed up with a RC program. We had about 35 to 37 holes planned here. We drilled the holes that you can see here in white, and we drilled 14 RC holes with the best result 10 metres at 1.97 grams from 129 metres, and that was achieved down in the south, down here at hole number 6. The focus of the historical deeper drilling has really been on this eastern shear zone and also just to the south of the tenement boundary here. There hasn't been a lot of drilling through this central corridor here. I think when you have a look at the geology of the Bronzewing mine sits with this dolerite unit on the outside of it and the eastern shear on the other boundary. We think what this offers and what hasn't been tested in any detail and at any depth is really this central corridor between the dolerite unit and the eastern shear on this outside edge. We think this offers great potential for further drilling. Earlier this year, we completed a detailed gravity survey on the project, and what that showed was our best result that we achieved, that 10 metres at 1.97 grams per tonne. We thought we were drilling the best part of a large gravity feature. And so when we had lower resolution, we saw this as one big gravity feature here, not 2 distinct discrete gravity features. So we think we've tested near the gravity feature, but we haven't tested the lowest part of the gravity feature. So we put in for some EIS funding from the WA state government. We've been awarded $150,000 in that state government funding to do a deeper diamond drill testing of this target later this year. We think it's a great project, a great exploration target, and we're looking forward to drilling that with diamond drilling this year. Similarly, we've defined a gravity low, again, in between this dolerite unit and the shear zone. So we're looking forward to testing that later this year. So Bronzewing, I spoke a little bit about the air core program. As I said, we're doing Target 1 at North Orelia. We're doing some testing at Target 4 on some solid geology that we learnt through our last program. We think we've drilled just to the west of the horizon, prospective horizon from the Orelia deposit. We're going to follow up our best targets at Target 1 with RC drilling. And we've got a diamond program at Bronzewing South later this year. So we think we're set for a strong year of news flow, near-term news flow over the coming weeks with that air core program, followed up by diamond program at Bronzewing South and the RC drilling at North Orelia. Moving gears, moving across to Mount Isa. As I said, we've got large tenure through here, 2,000 square kilometres, surrounded by tier 1 base metal projects, basically all around us. A key premise of our tenure here in Mount Isa is focused on the 2 fault systems, the Fountain Range Fault and the Pilgrim Fault. We're actively exploring through there. Our joint venture partner, JOGMEC, areas are defined here in the darker blue, and we're currently drilling prospects at Shadow and also at Toby in this joint venture area. We also have a drilling program planned and upcoming later this month at a target called Copper-Gold-Molybdenum-Rhenium. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The Shadow Prospect sits next to a hematite deposit, our prospective model and IOCG system, the presence of a large hematite deposit nearby with a very large breccia unit through the area. And this area was initially picked out with a soil anomaly. The soil anomaly we followed up with rock chip sampling. This target area is quite inaccessible to the road system or road network through there until our recent exploration activities. And what we came through and found here was outcropping mineralisation. You can see some really good gold grades going up to 6 grams per tonne and high grade rock chips for copper up to 27% copper. A large breccia unit, as I said, 450 metres long, this section of it, by a maximum width of 150 metres. And we've identified the copper mineralisation there. So we're drilling that with JOGMEC at the moment, and we've got some news coming out of that in the coming weeks. And similarly, we're drilling a target in Mount Isa, again in the JOGMEC joint venture with JOGMEC. The Toby Prospect. The Toby Prospect was originally a VTEM anomaly, sits in a very similar position to our Kalman deposit to the south. We followed up with some ground EM earlier this year that picked up 3 significant plates, conductive plates through the area. Again, sitting on surface, we have high-grade rock chips, 18 grams per tonne gold, which is quite significant, 15% copper, and some silver through there. We'll be testing one of these plates in the current drilling program and expect results again over the coming months. A Kalman project, which I think is a little bit forgotten in Queensland, sits there with a 20 million tonne, 1.8% copper equivalent resource. It's got some really high grade sections in it in today's market. Intersections of 7 metres at 23% copper and 0.5 grams per tonne would be really interesting. The project sat here for a while without a lot of work done to it. Recently, we applied to the Queensland State Government for a CEI funded program, magnetotelluric study over this area. And we were awarded that money. We completed that survey in February this year, and I think it shows some really interesting features. The MT survey, you can see just behind here, has picked up the conductive body at Kalman. We've got the wireframe sitting in front there. But what it's also highlighted is a number of nearby conductive features that remain untested. Our theory on the Kalman deposit is there's a deep fluid source coming up feeding these systems, hence the higher grades at depth. And I think some of these conductive features make for attractive exploration targets. So I'd like to think we're going to be able to chase these targets over the coming year, get out there, do some more work on them, hopefully have a high grade sort of result from them and really change the development story around the Kalman deposit, because I think 350,000 tonnes of copper equivalent metal is the start of a nice story for an actual development story for the company. But I think it really needs to be underpinned by some new exploration and some new success, which we certainly see the potential of in the region. So what's next? I mentioned drilling programs at Toby and Shadow. We also have that drilling program up at Copper-Gold-Molybdenum-Rhenium. It's with our joint venture partner, Mount Isa Mines, 51-49 joint venture. It sits right next door to the historic Mary Kathleen mine site, which was mined for uranium and also carried very high-grade rare earth mineralisation. It's previously been a copper target, and we have had copper intersections through that area. So we're also hopeful that the drilling that we're doing here may also be quite prospective for copper. So again, we have a strong pipeline of news flow coming through from Mount Isa as well as from Bronzewing in the near future. As I mentioned, we've got that air core program at Bronzewing. We've got news flow coming from the assays that are due there in the near term. Follow that up with a reverse circulation drilling program at Orelia North, and potentially also at Ken's Bore there, where we've got a target, an unexplained EM conductor, which sits below a historic rock chip gold anomaly, which has gone up to 500 grams per tonne gold, a really interesting target. As I mentioned, we've got the diamond drilling program to come at Bronzewing South. And again, we're active, we're exploring. We've just announced that we're going to do a soil samples over the North Orelia project. I'm quite excited by the prospects of what we've got through a region that I don't think has been explored effectively historically. So I'm really looking forward to our activities in Bronzewing as I am in Mount Isa, and really thankful for our joint venture partner and the Queensland Government funding we've had there. I think it's provided a very strong program of work there. We're probably completing just over 1,000 metres of diamond drilling over the coming month. So with some news flow from that, while we also look to advance our advanced exploration targets there, moving through the 100% owned Hammer projects, as well as proving up new targets for the joint venture. I know that was really quick overview and summary of what Hammer's doing. I'd encourage anyone to come and send me an email or contact us here in the office and ask any questions. I'd love to take you through any of those particular projects in a bit more detail. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dan. Dan will answer any questions you might have. Just jump on over to the Noosa Mining Virtual website, scroll to the Hammer Metals company description and click on the contact links. We'll see you back here soon after a short break.